The Last Kid on Mars Survival Mission. The red dust of Mars hammered against the reinforced glass of the Ares base. Inside, 12-year-old Tara Vega sat at the communications console, her headset heavy with silence. For 3 days, the static from Earth had been absolute. She was alone on a planet millions of miles from home, the only soul left to keep the lights burning in the dark. A sharp, rhythmic chirping broke the silence. Tara looked at her wrist-mounted display. The oxygen levels in the base were dipping into the amber zone. The primary life support scrubbers were failing, and the backup batteries were drained. She needed more power, and she needed it now. Her only hope lay 40 miles away in the Vallis Labyrinth, at an old decommissioned solar farm. "Looks like it's just you and me, Sparky," Tara said, patting the rugged frame of her 6-wheeled rover. Sparky's sensors swiveled toward her, his blue optical eye flickering with a friendly light. He was a sturdy machine, built for the rough Martian terrain. Together, they loaded the last of the emergency canisters and prepped the rover for a journey through the treacherous canyons. The Vallis Labyrinth was a maze of towering red cliffs and deep, shadowed trenches. Sparky's heavy tires crunched over the iron-rich soil as they navigated the narrow passages. Every turn looked the same, and the sun was beginning to dip, casting long, eerie shadows across the canyon floor. Tara watched the navigation screen closely, steering them through the heart of the labyrinth. Suddenly, Sparky came to a halt, his sensors clicking rapidly. He pointed his mechanical arm toward a deep crevice in the canyon wall. Deep within the shadows, something was glowing with a soft, pulsing azure light. Tara climbed out, her boots hitting the Martian soil with a soft thud. She knelt by the opening, her breath hitching in her suit as she saw the source. It was a seed, but unlike any Tara had ever seen in her botany manuals. It was the size of a walnut, translucent and humming with an internal energy that felt warm even through her gloves. It wasn't earthborn. It was a relic of Mars' ancient past, a spark of life that had survived the freezing ages. She carefully tucked it into her pocket, a new sense of purpose driving her forward. They reached the solar farm, just as the first stars appeared. The massive panels were tilted at odd angles, buried under layers of thick, red dust. Without the sun's energy, the farm was a graveyard of cold metal. Tara looked up at the looming structures. If she couldn't get these panels clear and aligned before the next dawn, the oxygen in her suit would run out before she ever made it back. Tara climbed the access ladder of the main tower while Sparky used his high-pressure air jets to blast the dust off the lower panels. It was exhausting work in the low gravity. She fought against the stiff joints of her suit, scraping at the crusted grime with a handheld brush. Above her, the Martian moon Phobos raced across the sky, a silent witness to her struggle. With the panels cleared, Tara rushed to the control hub. Her hands trembled as she pulled the heavy manual override lever. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, a low hum began to vibrate through the floorboards. The hub's monitors blinked to life, glowing a steady, hopeful green. Power was flowing again, feeding the emergency atmospheric generators of the nearby greenhouse module. Tara didn't head back to the base immediately. She walked into the revived greenhouse, where the air was now thick and sweet with recycled oxygen. In the center of a nutrient-rich soil bed, she carefully planted the glowing Martian seed. As soon as the soil covered it, the blue light intensified, spreading through the dirt like tiny glowing veins of water. By the time the sun rose, the seed had sprouted. It wasn't a small leaf, but a vibrant silver-blue vine that climbed toward the glass ceiling at an impossible speed. Sparky hummed a happy tune as the plant began to release oxygen so pure it made Tara's head swim with joy. It was the first of its kind, the start of something new. Tara stood with Sparky on the ridge overlooking the valley. Behind her, the greenhouse glowed like a lantern, a beacon of life in the wasteland. She knew she wasn't just surviving anymore. She was a gardener. One day, these silver-blue vines would cover the canyons, and the red planet would finally breathe again. She looked up at the stars, no longer feeling alone.